One minute he could be your beautiful Jewish uncle patting you on the back, treating you good, and the next minute he'd be cursing you out or freak. I mean, can you talk about that explosive behavior on top of the fact that he really didn't ever know why he got the sound that he did, but it was absolutely gorgeous.
Well, he tried to play like Lester Young. He had Lester Young's sound.
Right.
So Lester Young came first. That was his favorite saxophone player. And we started every set, every night for the years I played with him with Lester Left Hand, Wayne Shorter's tune.
Wow.
Do 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 do. So, because he paid homage to Lester, Mr. Pork Pie Hat, first tune every night. So he tried to play like Lester with that same swinging ace note and kind of the same tone, with a little bit. I think Stan played a 4 or 5 reed. He had a harder reed, but he had that same ace note as Lester Young, that swinging ace note, with a little bit harder sound. But he put his own sound on top of the Lester Young eighth note. And he had his own melodies, In spite of the fact Stan had his different personalities, he was one of the most melodic people who ever played jazz.
Ever.
But he improvised. And I always thought about that's one thing you learned in the band, is his melodies were so gorgeous. And how he played the actual melody of the song and paraphrased it sometimes. He sounded like, Ellis singing a tune or Billie Holiday singing a tune, but he just had a tenor saxophone in his mouth. But he was just singing the tune.
He was singing, and there were no repetitive ideas. It was always different. It was just, and it was danceable.
Yeah. So when you talk about, something that was programmed.
Yeah.
The tunes were the tunes. Every tune had a certain groove, certain tempo. So that's what you played on a gig. But the melodies were so beautiful. You heard coming out of the horn, and from the other. And Brookmeyer did the gig for quite a while, and they reunited when I was with Stan.
That is so freaking. Did they reunited?
Well, we were playing at a place in Redondo Beach called Concerts by the Sea.
Sure.
This is the middle '70s, and
is that Rumsey's thing? Is that Howard Rumsey? Yeah, go ahead.
Exactly,
yeah.
Howard Rumsey's place, and so Bob came to the gig one night, and they hadn't played with each other, I guess, since the '50s, maybe about 20 years. I think it was 1975. So Stan said, Bob, we're going to Europe in a couple of days. You want to join the band again? So Bob joined the band, and so there were 2 Mr. Melodies on the front line. Brookmeyer didn't know, and I love Bob, and Bob didn't know that all through high school and college, I tried to play the valve trombone like he played.
Wow.
So I transcribed a lot of his stuff and played along with a lot of his records. So when he finally joined the band, again, I was playing with one of the guys that I transcribed.
I love this.
And eventually I told him that too. And I said, Bob, I just try to play along with your records all through high school and in college. And the only reason I stopped playing valve trombone is I had to give the school valve trombone up, and I couldn't afford one. So I had to give up the instrument because I couldn't afford to buy one.
They got right back into sync, though, after not playing for 20 years, just back in the groove?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, there's some nice videos on YouTube.
There are? Okay, I got to check that out.
Yeah, there's some nice overseas videos of the band. And I guess we made some records, too. I guess they came out as records, too. Some live gigs that were recorded.
Really? Well, who was it? Wait, was it Kenny Barron or who was on
No, this was about 10 years before Kenny. This was with Andy Laverne on piano.
Wow.
Jeff Brillinger was playing drums on a lot of those gigs.
Whoa.
And myself on bass.